Well, hello and welcome to Cracking the Rich Code, the podcast. I'm your host, John Verico, and I've got a special guest today. And they're all special because they're all really, really so good. But this guest today, he is an executive coach, an executive leadership coach who helps to transform those C suite level leaders from being managers to being true inspirational leaders. So let me bring on our special guest today, Aurélien Mangano. Aurélien, welcome.
Yes, thank you very much, John, to having me on this podcast. I'm very happy to have a chat with you today.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk a little bit about you and what you do, but also how you got involved in the Cracking the Rich Code book, and how you got involved in leadership coaching. So actually, let's start there. Let's talk a little bit about kind of who you are and what got you started in the coaching realm.
So there is multiple layer in your question actually, because the first one is how I wanted to be in the leadership. I always wanted to be in leadership. From my young age, I was naturally attracted to lead people and I wanted to help people to organize themselves. And when I started my journey in the workplace, my first job was software engineer. I was doing development of software engineering and all this, and I hate it because I love to solve problems, but I don't like to find all these bugs and things like this. So very quickly, I tell my manager that I
We had a
wanted,
similar background.
yeah, yeah. Very quickly, I asked my manager to promote me as a leader, and luckily, he listened to me. And 1 month from my first job, I was leading the contractors' supervision. So I was helping them to capture the information, making sure that we were tracking. I was not doing just leadership. I was still a software engineer, but I was supervising. So I was really loving this. Few years after I discover what
I,
is
I have
management.
to I have to say, Aurelian,
Yeah.
we have very similar backgrounds because I started out not in software because I'm a little older than you, but I was an electrical engineer and
Oh,
electronics technician, and I was doing the same thing. I was the problem solver, and I was very good at what I did, but I really wanted to do more with people than with the technology.
yeah.
And so ultimately, I moved up to being the person who was training the other technicians and helping and guiding them. And that's what I found rewarding. So I think we are right in parallel with each other, my friend.
Yeah, that's why we are on the same podcast because we find each other very similarly. And yeah, and a few years after, I had the title of project manager, but I was never trained as a project manager. So I was good at cost, I was good at resource management because it was what I thought project management was. And very
Right.
quickly, I understood that actually these two parameters are not so important compared to the stakeholder management because I don't know if it is just me, but the stakeholder was changing their mind as often as they change their coffee order. So it was really crazy for me to manage because the scope were always changing. And slowly I was better at managing really this. And I was so good that I was not inspiring anymore because I was trying to control too much the parameter and the people around me. And this
Right.
is where I saw that we have multiple levels in the career where you start as a technical, then you have the management, then you have something else after that is the leadership where you need to learn how to let go all this control and start inspire people so they can build your vision for you and you don't
I
have
love
to
it.
control it. And it is a little what bring me to leadership. No, how I came to the coaching. This is another story. When COVID hit in 2020, I was in industry that was going to be pretty bad because it was oil and gas. And I was thinking we will never go back to office. The travel will not exist anymore because it was really dramatic. I was news were picturing the things. So I leave this industry and I will try to do something different. And I went to customer success management in a renewable company. You can see the full shift in this. And in parallel, I was approached by some people to start my journey of coaching. And I tell, yeah, why not? I always loved understanding the psychology. I always want to understand things. And I did for 4 years in parallel coaching, training on life coaching, executive coaching, neuro-linguistic programming. I mean, I did a lot of training
Wow.
around. And in parallel, I was doing the customer success management, and I realized that the corporate life that I had so far was not the one that was making me more happy, and I was more rewarded by helping people to be great leaders. And I decided in 2024 to take full time coaching and start really my business.
Wow, so that's quite a journey. Let me ask you, was there someone that you worked with or saw that, that inspired you to be that type of leader?
I had both. I have people that I saw that were very bad manager or very bad leaders that pushed me to be a very good leader and try to be better and make things better. And I had one or two people that were very influencing and that inspire me. And I have some people that I have in mind, and I don't want to put name at all in it,
No,
but
no, that's okay.
but I have one of my managers that I had in the past that was really good at inspiring people. Even he was not doing what he was telling, he was really good at inspiring. And it was really when I saw, I think, Simon Sinek, that a lot of people know, with why and his purpose, that really inspire me and make me realize the importance of purpose and how leadership was essential also.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how uh, we learn possibly even more from bad leaders than we do from good ones because they set the example for what not to do.
Yeah,
I know throughout my career as I worked for people, the people that made me want to work for them as compared to the people that forced me to work for them. And I know which ones I worked harder for,
yeah,
and which ones inspired me. And I wanted to be that type of person. But it is always amazed me. Almost every conversation I've had with people who have evolved in this career field is because of they saw so many examples of bad leadership that they were working hard to correct it. And that's what I've been doing that my whole career now, is because I've been really kind of trying to fight against the bully behaviors and that kind of stuff. And we learn so much that way in those environments. And I understand why you don't want to point people out, both good or bad, because
yeah, yeah,
no
yeah,
need to call out an individual. But it's always good that we find, we can see a lot of bad, but then we're fortunate when we can see some examples of good, and then we say, that's the behavior I want to emulate.
yeah. And I would catch on one phrase that you tell. I work harder on some. I work harder for some good leader, and I would like to tell that when you feel control, you don't want to do extra miles because and there is two reasons. The first reason is you feel control, so you are not opening yourself to do something. You rely on your manager to give you the answer, so you are totally on the passive path and you don't do anything. And the second one is because you are controlled, you feel that your voice is not useful, so you are not even wanted to engage. And when you do the opposite, actually giving the control to your team, really empower them, making them realize how important are their skills, their expertise, and how they can bring value. They want to engage, they want to put themselves because they feel valued. And it is exactly the reason I try to make people change their mindset from management to leadership. But there is something that is very important here. There is no bad behavior in both. We need to have management, and there is
Oh, yes.
leadership, and we need both of them. And there is good management that can be very valuable for good leadership also, and we need both, because people have tendency to mix a little these two concepts of management and leadership, and I have a very different way. Is management is all about control and making sure that the environment is well controlled to make sure that it is executed as expected. And the leadership is really helping people to inspire others to build this vision. And you need both to make it happen, because if you have no management, you don't know where you go. And if you have no leader, you have no inspiration, so nobody wants to follow your ideas.
I'm glad you said that. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are speaking with Aurélien Mangano, who is an executive coach, executive leadership coach. And you brought up a very important point just now. You said that because so many times we hear, oh, leadership is better than management. You want to be a leader, not a manager. And you're right. You brought up the point that neither is better than the other. Both skill sets are needed, but they are two very different skill sets. And both
Exactly.
skill sets are absolutely needed. And that was a great point that you brought up. So thank you for saying that. I keep trying to tell folks that for years when I first started in this, I used to say, well, leadership is better than management. And then I realized, no, we
Yeah.
actually still need management, because that controls
Yeah.
the resources and all that other stuff. Now, you have, I did put up briefly, I'm going to put it up again to learn more about you on your website, developleaders.com. And for those of you who are not looking at the video, or maybe only hearing the audio, that is develop, DEVELUP, leaders.com. And so tell me a little bit about where that name came from, although I think I have an idea.
Hey, it was a very, very difficult name that came, because I had so many names for my company, and my wife was always, no, it's not good. No, it's not good. So it took me perhaps 6 months to just come with this name, because it was always not good. And it was always in leadership, because leadership was always something that I wanted to do. And I had a lot of trouble to find it. And at the end, I want to develop people that are leading and inspiring. And I look on internet, finding name, and so many names were taken. So it's horrible. You feel like, oh, I arrived too late in the market, so I don't have my name as I want. And one day I saw the name Develop, and I wanted to do Develop because I was really focusing more at this time on developing people on the career, developing people on their skills. And I was Develop is good. It was already taken. And with several try, I was able to do, okay, developing is very important. I want to go up and reach the next level of the company, and it's a hub that is in the middle. And I want to have people that are more inspirational, because sadly, I see more and more in the company that everybody is going from the technical to the management and forget the last step, that is the leadership. So we have a lot of people that are in executive doing very well. I don't tell that they are not doing well, but they are not inspiring. People don't understand really the culture, what is the strategy, what is the vision. And I wanted to really help people to understand this and develop leaders. And here I want to just give you one statistic that I see on HBR, and I put a disclaimer on it because it's a little old, but so it's on Harvard Business Review that we're telling it's 95% of the employees that don't understand totally the strategy of their company. Now I see that it is probably 70%, something like this, probably in the reality. But if you have 70% of your companies that don't understand what you are doing, how are you leading your company to the right direction? So this is the reason I tell it is important to develop this skill of leadership, inspiring, communicating correctly, building the connection with a network, making sure that you connect your vision with your people so they can bring what you were telling John, all their engagement and all their skills to the company and have a better return on investment on your resource.
That is a great point because and it's kind of staggering when you realize the number of the percentage of people that don't really or are not really aligned with the mission and vision of the organization they work for, mostly because they don't understand the why. And
Yeah.
in order to be inspired to do anything, you have to know why you're doing it. And that's why I love and you probably have heard this and you probably even teach this too with the parable about the bricklayers. Have you heard that one with the three bricklayers? So there are three bricklayers, and the first one is, just working to stack the bricks and doing kind of a sloppy job at it. And somebody asks, "Well, what are you doing?" And he says, "I'm stacking bricks. What does it look like I'm doing?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, let's move on." And they come to the second bricklayer, and they are being very neat and aligning all of their bricks and putting nice amounts of mortar in between. And so the visitor asks, "What is it that you're doing?" And they say, "Well, I'm building a wall." And they comes to the third bricklayer, and this person is, they've got plumb lines. Everything is perfectly straight. The amount of mortar is perfectly even. They're doing a beautiful job of aligning everything perfectly straight. And they've even made more progress than the others. And so they ask, what is it that you're doing? And they said, "I'm building a children's hospital." When you understand the direction, when you understand the purpose, you understand why you're doing what you're doing, you put more into it.
Yeah, and it is, I mean, I didn't know this parable, and it's a very good parable that I will probably reuse. No, but
You can
yes,
use it.
I
It's not
totally
mine.
agree on
I'll
this.
share it.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, when I was in automation, at the moment I was doing a lot of automation, I had this experience where the software engineer were doing very well his job, but he was not understanding what he was doing. He was just, okay, I put these different break of the automation and it's automate and I am doing this. And I have some people that were challenging me every time I was bringing something. And it is exactly what you were telling me, putting really the why I'm doing this. And one thing that I will tell to any employee, don't accept blindly what your executive are telling you. Challenge them. They will appreciate it. Because you want to make sure that you have your say in what is happening, and it is not just blinding telling yes. Because when you blindly tell yes, you are just accepting what is perhaps wrong and just losing resource. By telling no, you may redirect the things in the right direction.
I love that, and it is so true because we'll do a much better understanding. We'll do much better if we understand exactly what it is we're trying to accomplish. I always try to tell people, don't tell me what to do. Tell me what you're trying to achieve, and let me find the way to do that. In the best way. So this has been great for those of you tuning in. I'll tell you now, we are speaking. This is the Cracking the Rich Code podcast, and we are speaking with Aurélien Mangano, who is an executive leadership coach and who wrote a chapter in Cracking the Rich Code, Volume 18. Now, your chapter's got a longish title. It is the personal vision to let me try that again. The title is The Personal Vision to Execution Bridge from Purposeless to Purposeful Life. So, if you had to just give a couple of sentences to describe what you portrayed in that chapter, to kind of entice people to read further, what would you tell them about what you wrote and why you chose to write that?
So it is a little what we discussed during this interview so far. I found that when I was in different companies, I was working with doing the job without always understanding why I was doing the things. And I understood that it was essential at the level of the company or even personally to really understand why you were doing this, going to your purpose, because understanding really, and I will use a word that is very technical, that is kokorozachi, that is a word for aligning your life with your purpose. And literally, it is being the warrior for what you believe in or your heart is in it. And it is how to find really your purpose in life, understanding what you are good at, what you love, what you can bring to the world, and what you can be paid, hopefully, from doing all this. And when you are able to align all this, you can find something that is purposeful for you. And what I realize in my life is that at the beginning of my life, the circle that was in the Venn diagram that was the most important was money. Because I start maybe to work and I just want to have money. I didn't care of my value. I didn't care of if I like it or not. I just wanted to have money. And more you grow in your career, more the circle adjusts, and you will tell perhaps money is less important. My value are more important, and what I love is more important. And this is probably the reason there is so many people when they arrive at their 40s that tell, oh, no, I cannot continue this job because the money doesn't come so much of a problem. And they start to realize that there is other things that are the value, what they love to do, and what they can bring to the world that become. And it is a little what I put in this chapter, trying to share how you can become more purposeful and more aligned with yourself so you can live a better life.
Yeah, it's interesting you say how money becomes less important, and we're in a book called "Cracking the Rich Code." But but we're the whole purpose of that. And when Jim Britt first reached out to me to invite me into the series, I was like, well, Rich Code, that's all you multi-millionaire CEO types, and that's not me. And he said, no, it's not about wealth. It's about not about financial wealth. It's about richness in life. And that's what yes. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about. We get to a point in life when it's not necessarily about the money, or we realize that the money is not worth our time and our effort. It's more about being in alignment and feeling fulfilled, and feeling like we
Yeah.
actually are making a difference in the world. And I think you're
Yeah,
doing
and I mean,
that.
it is perfect. I mean, for me, you need to have money because the money is what is the enabler.
But yeah,
But
got to
you
have that
will
part.
you will always see people that are just focused on money. They are not fulfilled,
They're
and
not
they
happy.
are in need of buying to make this complement of, okay, I want to complement myself with something that is missing in me. And it is another type of wealth, as you tell. The wealth is not just money, it's everything, and it's a balance between the different area of your life.
That's so perfect. Now I know that when you work with your clients, and mostly with focus people who are senior leaders and in the C-suite, and they basically want to transform from being more management focused to becoming more inspirational leaders. I know you focus on several things. One is purpose, and you work on emotional intelligence, which is so incredibly important. You help them to develop a growth mindset. You work on communication and leadership skills and also influence. That's what those are the principal pillars that are the core of your teaching. And I think you have that on your website as well. So I want to just touch on, before we run out of time, that little piece at the end there, the one that you said, the pillar of influence. And
Yes.
can you describe for our listeners what you mean by that?
Sure. So influence is something that is very difficult to develop because at the beginning you need to have, I mean, all pillars are important to do it. And the influence is going in the mastery of this, and it is building your charisma, building your professional brand, and not just being a brand where you shine and things like this, but being consistent, being determined in what you tell, being adaptable. And I will take an example of an executive that was very strong in his thinking. He has a value. The CEO was totally opposite to his value, and he stand to his value, and he was very persistent, and I help him in developing the communication to make sure that the communication was going well in it, but he was clear on his message and his value. And one day they had a board meeting where they discussed all together about what was going for the organization, and this person stand and explain what are their value, and everybody was, yeah, this value is important for our organization. How can we make it happen? And the mindset change for the board to make sure that this value is taken in account. And it is important as a leader to influence and make your point, but also not change always your opinion according to the politics or what is happening around you. And it is one of the elements of the influence, but there is many, and I use also some language pattern like ambiguity, the precise ambiguity that is helping people to resonate with you by using a language that is ambiguous. And I cannot go very long in it because we don't have much time remaining. But if you want to learn more, you know where to find me with the information that you shared.
Well, thank you very much. That was great. So if you want to know more, definitely check out Aurelien's website, develupleaders.com. That's DEVELUP leaders.com. And also you can connect with him on LinkedIn, which is a good way to reach out. I was able to connect with him right away on LinkedIn. He's very responsive there. So definitely check him out. And it's just on his name, Aurélien Mangano. And Aurélien, this has been a really wonderful conversation, and I wish we had more time. The time goes so quickly when we have these conversations. They really do. But I really appreciate.
I agree.
You're
It went very fast.
You're taking the time this morning to do this, and I'm looking forward to. I've not gotten my copy of Volume 18 yet. But I just ordered the Kindle version. I have not dove into it, and the hard copy should be here soon. But as soon as I get it, I'm going to be diving into your chapter and learning more.
You can take.
Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Hold that up again. Let's see that. Look at that. That great picture. What a great picture on the cover. So that is Cracking the Rich Code, Volume 18. Definitely check him out. Visit his website at develupleaders.com. Aurélien Mangano, thank you so much for joining us. And we will be talking more. Absolutely. Well, thank you everyone for listening and tuning in for this message, for this wonderful conversation with yet another author in the Cracking the Rich Code book series. Each one is so incredibly special, and I'm so honored to be able to interview and get to know these folks more. And I hope that we can bring that to you by bringing them onto this show. So please keep tuning in. Check us all out, and most importantly, check out Aurélien Mangano and his Cracking the Rich Code Volume 18, and also check out his website at develupleaders.com. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and we will see you soon.